Oh, well, that sucked. I just got halfway through this thing narrating it, realized my mic was off. This sucks. Now I gotta start all the way over. Okay, so this video is about these little plasma blobs. This was my old house in Georgia, where I had a lot of aircraft, drone, UFO activity, being directly under the 32nd parallel, the -5 magnetic field line, directly under the subtropical jet stream. I got a lot of weird, funky weather and magnetic anomalies where all these phenomenon would basically get channeled and funneled right over and around my house. Like there was magnetic highways that just bent around my house. That's literally how it was there. And that's actually how the magnetic field lines that have been mapped show. It actually goes up and then bends around my location and then goes back out. It's very strange. But I've actually seen these objects drop down and follow these invisible lines, and basically when they start interacting with the energy and it starts ionizing the particles, it starts creating cloud matter. That cloud matter starts filling in the invisible magnetic field lines, and you start to see the DNA helix shape to it. You got like a negative and positive polarity, magnetic flow spiraling around the energy current in the center. That's exactly how these Birkeland currents, flow through the atmosphere. I've actually seen them physically with my eyes when they get filled in with cloud matter, when these, events are all amped up. But that's not these. These are something different. These are like little damn plasma pixies. They were just hanging out. First I thought they were street lights, then I thought that they were airplanes, but then I see them, they're interacting with the trees. They're in the tree branches, illuminating the tree branches. They're changing shape, morphing, changing colors, but they're basically kind of just stationary, moving around very slowly in and out of the tree branches. They did this for like an hour or two. I took tons of photos. I've just found all this stuff, digging through all my old hard drives, so I figured I'd make a video. I'm kind of going through all the snapshots, zooming in, zooming out, so you can actually see what I'm talking about, how they're, they'll illuminate the tree branches when they get close to it. They go in front of the tree branches, behind the tree branches, so they're like in the trees. And directly behind this from my view across I-20 is Kennedy Space Station, which is just a little plot of land with one runway. It's like nothing there. But all this damn UFO, drone, plane activity is coming from that, exact direction. It's like there's an underground base, tunnel that opens up, and these things just come out, at night. Because as soon as it gets dark, you'll start seeing them just lift off one after the other, and they do like predictable grid patterns. Like they fly in a straight line, and they just kind of like stop. They take a sharp right. They go for a while. Then they stop, and they take another right, and they go for a while, and then they stop, and they take another sharp right, like they're making a square grid pattern, and then they go right back to where they came from, and they just stop, and they just slowly drop down vertically into the, into the ground or on the ground. But I've watched and recorded them do that so many times. I've seen like big UFOs fly out of that place, straight up into the atmosphere, or out of the atmosphere. It's just a very mysterious area. A lot of high strangeness. This was just kind of interesting because these little plasma phenomenon, little plasma entities, or plasma pixies, or whatever the hell they are, they're just kind of chilling out in the trees, in my backyard, just kind of like kids playing in the trees. What's this? It's like they're looking at the bark and the leaves and studying our foliage, studying life on Earth. I don't know, but you can see it's illuminating the branches around it. So it's in the tree branches. It's not up in the sky, and it's just kind of floating around doing its thing. Did this for several hours, and then after they were done, they slowly lifted up in the sky. They kind of joined together into a little formation and started flying off and doing all these weird blinky freaking. They would like blink, and then all of a sudden they would appear way up there, and they would leave these long, like ribbon rainbow trails as they were flying in formations. You know, not like a plane, but like they just had weird multicolored blinking lights, very strange blinking patterns. I should have recorded that, and there's probably some Morse code in it or something. But the way they fly together, it's fascinating. I know there's been documentaries about these things. When you record them or you take photos of them at night, and it seems like you're shaking, and it's just, you know, the shaking and, you know, the objects just making these long trails, but these things are actually like flying around that quick and leaving multicolored rainbow ribbon trails. You know, even when you have the camera on a tripod, they still do that. They're just very weird, sporadic, but there's an intelligence to them. I have no idea what they are, where they come from, if they're ours, theirs, but they do seem like they're studying Earth. You know, spend so much time inside some trees in backwoods Georgia. You know, they got to be from somewhere else. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, these UFOs can change their state. You know, go from a physical form to a plasma form. You know, change their sizes, morph shapes. There are many examples of that. I've heard stories from some guys in MUFON, actually, when I contacted him about another case. And he was telling me he lived somewhere in North Georgia, and he had a chicken farm behind his house. And he swore to God that, you know, every night or every other night, the roof would, on one of these chicken houses, would just slide open, and these orbs would go up, and they would start small, like little small, you know, baseball size orbs, and as they go up, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they move all the way up into the sky, and then they'll basically just slowly move around, and then when they get up to where they're going, they just stop, and they look exactly like a star. He's like, he saw that hundreds of times, and he was telling me all sorts of crazy stories about it. How he actually was, I guess, talked to telepathically, because they knew that he was watching, and they didn't care. They actually, you know, found it fascinating. They actually would telepathically tell him, you know, okay, there's a craft that's going to be coming out. Go ahead and get your camera, and you know, you can record it. And he would sit there and on his back porch and just watch these things lift up, and they would go from small to gigantic as they moved up in the sky. Like they could change shape, change, you know, the state of matter. It was an interesting conversation. Whether it's true, I don't know, but it's got a lot of parallels to the things that I've seen. I don't dismiss anything. We live in a crazy world, and our science fiction Marvel movies are nothing compared to reality. That's why it's so hard to grasp this stuff, because we're living in cartoon world, and nobody tells us the real way of the universe. How laws of physics can be broken with certain technology, you know. Well, it's getting darker, and these are all taken, I think, with my Nikon D5300. It takes the best night photos, the clearest night photos out of any of my cameras. So I use that at night. See it sitting in the trees, lighting the branches up. I mean, this went on for a good hour or two before they started lifting off and joined together into a formation, which is probably the more interesting part. See, they start looking like that, to where they literally blinked in sequence. Like, it's a very strange, fast-moving. It's hard to describe. I know people have seen these weird planes flying in the sky that have weird strobing patterns. You know, different colors, green, you know, red. It's not normal plane lights, and they just seem different. That's these things. See little small orbs inside that. did a little modifying, shortened some photos, so it's a little quicker. Made them 4 seconds, so you just kind of see how they're moving, very slowly. That red one, kind of the second to the left, it starts moving and shooting over to the right, real slow, and going in and out of the trees. Disappear behind it while the other ones are kind of stationary. Now they go behind the trees. I mean, you can definitely tell they're in the trees. Now's where it gets cool. So this is when they join together after all the bull crap in the trees, and they start flying together, and they start blinking in weird, sporadic, shooting off, but they're flying together. And my camera's on a tripod, so take that into account. And you can see there's it's just weird how some of them streak and others don't. And what the hell is that? You got some dots, and they're just strange trails. They was just really fast blinking, and then all of a sudden they would appear over there, and they were just doing a dance in the sky. It was amazingly interesting. It looked way better in the photos than I did with my eyes, actually. But you can definitely tell that they're not planes. I'm sure you've seen the multicolored strobing lights in the sky, and they blink really weird, really frequently, and they're just not normal plain strobe lights. But you got single orbs in there, and then you got all these little ribbon streaks, multicolored. You can't get that just by shaking. These things are just shooting off, and just, look at that. What the hell? They just glowing lights and then streaks. How do you get that? It's either all of them streaking or none. You can have one stationary, perfectly still sphere, and then the rest of them shooting around it. That's just it's just not normal. They're rainbow ribbon streaks. It's like they're putting on a show for me. And then you got some that are just stationary. It's pretty damn fascinating. It's the only time I've ever really captured anything like this. I've heard other people talk about it. This is back from 2020. I just got lucky and stumbled upon the folder that was hidden in a folder. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video out of that, because that's pretty damn fascinating. That ain't no damn plane. It's like some kind of plasma phenomenon just doing a dance for me. And it almost just kind of looks like a plane. A weird plane moving in the night sky. But it'll kind of shoot. It'll blink really fast, and then it'll appear a little ways in front of it. Very sporadic like that. Hard to explain. I'm sure if you skywatch or night star watch, you've seen something like it. It's like, what the hell? That is definitely not normal. It's like doing loop-de-doo spirals. Alright, so that was it. Hope you enjoyed it.